Good morning, welcome to a morning outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 27th of September. So first things first, let's look at today's news headlines. What we got, I say headlines, not the headlines, but the possible impact that we got coming out today. 12:30 this afternoon is the first one there. Then we've got Fed Chair Powell speaking. Talking about digital currencies, of course, this could have a knock-on effect onto the crypto market. So there's certainly something for traders there at 12:30. Side of that, we've got core durable goods, which it does create some movement. In times like this, it might create a little bit more movement. We've got Fed Bullard speaking at 3 o'clock or 2:55. This certainly could move things a little bit. It's in London to talk about the state of things, and then we've got consumer confidence at 3 o'clock. So that, although they've got it highlighted in red, doesn't really have a great impact on the markets normally, but we'll see. Okay, let's just check any up for any other speakers, and there are a bundle of speakers here. We've got Lagarde speaking at 8:15, ECB speakers at 9 o'clock, 9:15, Suncliffe, 13:35, Fed Bostic speaking. So, and then there's a whole raft of speakers from 4 o'clock onwards there. So just be a bit aware at least. Let's get on and look at these markets, and let's start off with the euro. Well, the euro is still sitting around its near-term bottoms and still looking pretty soft here. It's just starting to set up. I've got this little trend line here. I'm just wondering whether it's going to break down, break below the 821, the pivot there, and continue the downside journey. So looking soft on the euro. The pound, yesterday, then obviously we know it went to the all-time lows for the pound for a long time. It's caught the bounce. Now it too is, when you come down to 60-minute time frame, looking a bit on the softer side this morning. We'll just see what happens post 8 o'clock. It's the thing with these markets, as I always say, you just got to be careful. You've got to be a bit patient around that 8 o'clock zone, and just let them show your hands. It does look a bit soft, although whilst it did sell back yesterday afternoon there, it didn't come quite as low as some of the other markets. It held up a little bit better. There was talk of intervention and potential intervention whenever the pound goes quite so low. I was just reading it. It's just 1992 last time there was any sort of intervention, but the suggestion that there's not sufficient reserves to be able to do anything like that. So it's pretty unlikely by the sounds of things. Dollar yen. Well, the yen yesterday, I mean, it climbed almost back. It's not that far away from its this high here, and the more it gets up to those sort of areas, the more I wonder, will we see more intervention, or at least chat of intervention? So there's certainly a possibility there. Okay, it's yen. It's looking well. It's trying to roll over here. I had my little trend line looking for things yesterday, but it has broken that effectively and given a lower high. So there is a slight trend change for a moment, but that could be nothing more than a bull flag. So we could just see the US dollar stretching its legs further here. We'll see how it develops, but watch out for intervention, he says. Aussie dollar. Well, Aussie yesterday ran down to its monthly S3. It hardly got much of a bounce then, but through the Asian session it's bounced back. I was looking to sell into the weekly pivot yesterday. Well, obviously it never got anywhere near it. It might yet at some stage come closer, but again, I'm just sort of looking at its current price action. It's a bear flag sort of sitting across the lows here, so it's a bear flaggy pattern, and it may be worth waiting to see what happens, but certainly it was worth waiting to see what happens. We're nearly at 8 o'clock now anyway. So there's the Aussie Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar drops back off a bit further yesterday than some did, but even so, it's spent most of its latter part of the day there, coming off and correcting. But in the bigger scheme of things, we could just be waiting for a continuation. There's nothing to say these markets are completely rolling over. So again, just looking at what's happening here, maybe a more conservative approach at 137.06-ish sort of area would suggest further upside down the CAD. So yep, that's where we are sitting at the moment. Let's go and have a look at gold. Gold was having a hard old time. It's having a bit of a bounce today though. Almost looks like I've missed a day here. 27th, 26th, just checking. Well, that was 26. It had already come down most of its way. It's that's it. It's alright. I was just looking at 26. It had come off, bounced, came off again later in the afternoon there, and catching a bounce at the moment. But again, I'd be drawing my lines there and waiting for the breakdown. Maybe back below the daily pivot would be bearish. If it carries on pushing up where it is at the moment, maybe it is going to get a bit bigger bounce, but it's just waiting for the next opportunities to sell into some of these markets. Oil, so again, oil was already off yesterday when we originally looked, and well, it did rally to the midday and then sold off in the later part of the evening there, after late afternoon. Again, same old pattern. So you're seeing the same old patterns running across all these markets at the moment. Not much else to do there. So yeah, looking bearish on the break of the trend. Same old. Let's switch markets. So we're going to have a look at actually before we look there, let's go and have a look at the cryptos this morning. Well, there's quite a rally on the cards there at the moment, and I've managed to miss out why it's quite such a rally on the cards. But the other markets all rallied to a degree. I'm not too sure if there was something else drawing this through, but we are seeing all of these markets recovering to some extent, not massively, but they're catching the bounce. So I'm just coming back to the Bitcoin here. It has now put a higher low in over these few days, so maybe it has got some more legs in there. But yeah, it seems like quite some move it's popping in here at the moment on these. Just looking through a similarish picture, not quite broken, giving us a higher low there yet. But maybe they have got more gas in the tank, all of these, but always tread carefully with them. They've been looking quite horrible. Yesterday was almost expecting a continuation to the downside. They've bounced a little bit more, and they're looking quite relatively strong, I'll put it that carefully, this morning. So let's get on to the indices. I don't have great confidence, but I know we've got meetings going on with Crypto Weldon, which could see some action. Anyway, looking at the CSI 300, then quite a bounce this morning there through the Asian session. Still, for me, I'm just waiting. I'd be waiting for opportunities to sell into a retrace on these markets. They're just so pointing south. The Nikkei, it was trying to outperform at one stage, never managed, and it's been dipping and dipping. It's up a bit on its close from yesterday, but still looking very soft where it is, as is the Nifty 50, and so on. We're seeing the S&Ps. Yep, good bounce today. We might get a bit more of a bounce off this. There was previous lows over here, so it's bouncing what appears off those prior lows. Dow Jones, it's again all running through the same, and the Nasdaq close to home. The CAC funny enough, it's doing exactly the same. They have taken out, some of these markets have taken out the prior lows, so they're looking a bit weaker, but it looks to me like it's pretty much had an equal throwdown here at the moment, so with a bit of support it probably hasn't taken too much, as with the DAX as well. So same old through the markets really this morning. FTSE yet to open, but I would expect a bit of that was quite a positive close yesterday, relatively. But it had taken, in doing so, it's taken out the prior lows there. But I expect it to follow suit this morning when the cash markets open. That is it for me today. I wish you a great day's trading. It's as I say, there's more bear flags than anything else. Be patient, wait for the post 8 o'clock, and hopefully you'll catch one. Take care. Bye for now.